Have you ever wanted to be a lightkeeper? Me neither, but that doesn't matter within the static dread. The game came out on April 6, 2025 with a very positive rating on Steam, and to be honest it has a pretty epic trailer, with the game being a semi-similar to a Papers, Please type of game. The game also has 43 achievements within it. Now with that given, here's my mandatory and required spoiler warning, so the weak-minded now have their chance to leave. Now with those who've stayed, let's guide the others to land. I start the game by having to read. Yuck. But we learn about a powerful aurora that has enveloped the entire globe, causing issue to all navigational devices. Now having to rely on the lighthouse once again, having chosen us as the keeper. We then receive a call from our daughter and wife. I guess we're not a lonely, miserable protagonist. Unrelatable. But after that, we enter our mighty fortress of the lighthouse. Right off the bat, we hear knocking. When we answer, we meet the courier. We begin to chat while he hands us some food and the money for today. He'll also be back in 2 days. After he leaves, I prepare for my ship by putting on my hat and getting myself into the uniform. I then hear the radio going and I receive the call. We hear an arrogant voice on the other end, named the Chief, with the first chat being quite a hateful one. But we listen anyway while he teaches us how the game works. But I'll learn how to do that after I check the top of the lighthouse, getting us one nice view. Before the night begins, I do want to talk about the first perk, that being energy. This is important to some degree. If we're able to eat enough food, the perk will activate, allowing energy consumption to be reduced. If we see a red half eye open above us, the downside won't be instant besides the constant blinking, but eventually, if left unchecked, will begin to move slower. But you can remove it if you grab a quick snack. Big back. I then head back down, getting ready to practice after I flip the lever and prepare the light. We now begin to learn the job, first having to find any radio signals that pop up, by either pressing these buttons or turning the dial. However, we could just run to a random broadcast. But if we do find one, we'll be given a navigational form, having to lead where the ship is requesting by clicking and dragging across the waters. We get through the first form and send it off. The Chief accepts it with a bit of a disregard. But we now start the proper guiding. If we mess up on any of the tasks or pay, we'll get docked. We'll also get docked and pay if we let anyone into the lighthouse. So let's make it a good night. Yeah, after that we hear a knocking and I answer, meeting quite the chapper named Jackie. He first hands us a journal, the journal from the last keeper who ran this place, while also stating that there might be 3 journals in total for us to find. We chat real well, but right before he leaves to go sail off, he asks us if he can come inside and watch the sunrise, a tradition he's been doing for a while since he was a kid. Now the smart me would not let him in. So I do. Hey, he gave me a journal, so we'll call it even. And maybe we can smooth talk our way out of it. But we'll get there when the waves settle. After that, I received the first call, a man named Captain Drake, who's from the Coast Guard. Nothing much happens besides some info about some traffickers I picked up on. He then leaves the call after hearing that. The second ship is named Pluto, and I lead him to Blackfront. My radio also begins to malfunction, hearing a cosmic broken voice. It already calls us out for letting the man inside our home, saying he'll pay quite the price. It also tells us to sleep in the morning and run before the darkness consumes me. But I ain't no bitch! I check the door and meet an old fisherman. We chat, and he hands me some fish. He leaves and we continue. I then go through one more ship flawlessly. We also get Drake back on the line. He informs us about the info we gave him, with him finding them, with the hijackers on a small yacht and some kind of weird drug. The Chief checks in back on us, already questioning if we let anyone in. I've always been with the idea that honesty is the best policy, so I let him know about it. And I get docked! What the hell? For $100 too? He even gloats about where he is and how he's doing amazing. He's my #1 enemy now, but we make it through day 1. As the second day starts, we hear a knocking with the fisherman on the other side. This time he shows us his wares. Upon inspection, I make the choice to buy the fisherman rod and hat, just for some fish and a higher chance of catching some good ones. We chat with the Chief again, and by chat I mean... Tonight we'll learn the next perk of Sanity. This time if we activate it, it will reduce the sanity consumption while being within the dark places. If our mind is right about the shatter, we can also eat food to restore it. But if our mind goes too far, we will die. Within the night, we received the new protocol. Cargo ships have to be sent to Deep Creek. That's all the new info we get, but we do also get one more mechanic as well. If the light goes out, we'll have to re-flip the breaker. Sometimes it might require us to reach the roof and fix it from there. Within the signals, I receive a Morse code message. Upon translating it, I got Save Drake. This makes me worried. I managed 5 ships with 0 mistakes. I also get contacted by it again, challenging us to see if we can save them. After that, I get jump scared hard.
Fucking hell.
I then also answer the door, meeting the elder asking if we've seen his son Jackie. I answer him with the ghost we just saw, and he leaves. I next get contacted by a new voice, named Misty from within Blackfront University. Misty also asks us about Jackie. Yeah, I have nothing to give since the ghost spotting, and when I let him in. We also learn that Jackie and Misty are also lovers, while Jackie is hiding it from the elder. Another knock is at the door, except for it's a little creepy boy. He instantly breaks the fourth wall, calling out to us, and then just leaves. We receive one more call, yet it interferes with us. It states that the ship will bring Ember into the city. It requests us to send the Ember to it, to protect the city. I've never really been someone to trust in unknown horrors, but why not change that? So I send it off to certain death. Not my issue if they're gone forever. With that, I sleep easily tonight, getting through day 2. I wake up again, and the courier's here again. He hands us our supplies, our payment, and a key to the generator room. One last thing I decide to do while he's here is to buy the coffee pot. After that, I decided to go fishing, catching some fresh air, and I was able to catch some more fish. After coming back from the open air, I checked the generator room using our newly acquired key, and spotted myself a crowbar. And come on, it's a crowbar! So I yank it out and obtain Lambda. I then also grab another key from within the room. We do find our first Eleanor's note, which we'll eventually get back to in the future. But we start the third night. The chief gives us some new rules, now having to guide ships with abnormalities to Mystic Point. Our last perk gets added upon this night, named Speed. Speed will simply just increase our movement, nothing too special. Throughout the night, I get the first ship with Drake contacting us off the bat. He communicates that he found the yacht that we wrecked full of Ember drug. I guess it was correct. Misty also contacts us again asking about Jackie, telling us that if we receive anything from Jackie, we should send it to where she is at Mystic Point. Don't send him to his father. I then hear Pluto again? It talks once more, knowing that the real ships showed up already. It instructs us to send the ship to it. I've already helped it once, so why not help it again? I next manage 5 ships while also managing a queso ship, but I get hit with another fine. Sadness. Throughout the night, we finally get contacted by Jackie. However, he's in a critical state with the rest of his crew murdered. He needs our help to save him. Despite what Misty said, I make the decision to send him towards us, since he is closer to us. With that, the night finally comes to the end of day 3. For our next shift, we wake within the dream realm. Our mother and daughter contacts us once more. Yet within the dream, we can see the top of the lighthouse. This marks the end of the first chapter with the choices that we've made. With that, the next morning arrives. The fisherman shows up again, telling us he almost got killed by an old lady with a knife. Even with me hearing that, I don't let him in. He leaves, I fish, and I start the next night. I start the night with a new rule. If the port they ask for is unreachable, I must send them to the quarantine zone. This is also a good moment where we can talk about the threat. Throughout the night, our lights can go out, and if we don't instantly take care of it, the Elder's tentacles will come through and can possibly drive us mad. However, we have the power of God. Our flashlight will be our only weapon against the horrors. I get through 7 ships through the waters while sending one to the quarantine zone, while meeting another voice named Don Dooley. He's quite happy with us since we got Drake all riled up, enough to reach his island all alone, getting Drake to pay quite the hefty cost with all his interference. And for our aid, he'll gift us a package. Misty is also quite angry with us, but to be honest, The fisherman also pops up again and talks about the woman with the knife again. He also knows that this might be the end of his timeline. He leaves knowing that this will probably be our last interaction. We then get a video game reference, and it contacts us once more. This time, it's willing to kill the chief. I instantly agree without a second thought. We get another knock, except for this time, there's no one to answer it. But on the other side, there is an envelope. All that it states is for Drake. I decide to take it and accept the bribe. But we now finally end day 4. Another morning, another courier. More supplies and more money. He then also mentions the storm that'll be rolling in tonight. He wants to leave before it shows its ugly head, so I decide to make some final purchases before he leaves, buying a musician bust, a cassette player, and a painting. I do another round of fishing after a quick dance and shenanigans. Yo, let's go. That's a bop. I do catch some more fish, making me an excellent fish hunter, for catching a total of 10. When we answer the radio this time round, we learn that the chief died. Thank God. This time he's replaced with someone else. So with my happiness at an all-time high, I begin another night. This night is going to be one hell of a fight for life. The rules of the night have changed. Guide the ships to any available port. If the crew is injured, guide them to Mystic Point. If the vessel has technical issues, send them to Deep Creek. Binds have also been cancelled this night. We will also get bonuses this night if we guide them correctly. But before we truly start, it talks to us again. He asks us if we want to end the storm tonight, to potentially save a lot of lives, at a cost. We must feed 3 unknown ships to end the storm, something we need to heavily consider. We then answer the door and it's Jackie. Before we can ask what happened, his father intercepts and they leave together. After that, I begin begin my shift. I also make the crucial decision to try and end the storm. I send the first ship I received to the jaws of death. The next ship is the courier himself, giving us his final message, his last sail across the waters. But I am not letting him die. I scream some sense into him and he finally listens to us, so we guide him safely to the land. It will not claim him. I send another ship to death. The Mafia man also calls us again, requesting us a favor. He wants us to send a specific ship to death, the Luminaria yacht. We get no information about the ship, so I will only consider the idea. I also get Pluto for a third time. Off to death you go! With it fed, the storm finally ends. I do guide 2 ships to safety through the night. We also hear Drake again, in a very critical condition, being barely able to escape from the Mafia. We then realize that his ship is the Luminari ship. I will not kill him. I will save him. With him saved, we end the shift and what the hell? Why is there a void in our lighthouse? Well, let's go in. Oh, what's up, dog? The unknown hands us the second journal of the old lightkeeper, so we take it. In the morning, I did the usual routine, chat, fish, and start the night. This time, we'll have to be careful not to cross the danger zones. We manage 6 ships, and I receive a reference to buckshot roulette, with the 6th night now coming to an end. This is also where we enter the dreamlike world again, meeting the boy once more. Nothing really happens between us, but we do get to see the choices we made through chapter 2. After waking up, we meet the courier again. He's quite thankful for us saving him, and I'm so happy that he's still alive. So happy in fact that I buy all his wares, getting I'll take everything. With that, another night starts, with us getting sent some questionable stuff, and are handed the new guidelines. We still must avoid the danger zones. Documents must be checked with an additional paper to see if there are any discrepancies. If there are, they must be sent to Deep Creek. Closest ships must also be sent there as well. The first ship we manage immediately has several discrepancies, so off it goes. We then meet the most questionable lady in the entire game, and I manage 2 normal ships, 3 cultist ships, and 1 military ship, with way too many finds. I then meet a dog! Oh, come on in, boy. When I let him in, we get the key to the supposed basement, but that doesn't matter at all since I'm allowed to pet the dog and get woof woof. I then end the night on a good note. During the new morning and using the newly acquired key, I enter the basement. Upon looking and moving some stuff around, we find some kind of burnt pattern on the wall. I also find another one of Eleanor's notes talking about something that the old lightkeeper hid, but they know where he hid them. So we follow what the note states and we find 2 crystal-like pieces. Even with me placing the crystals on the door, nothing happens. We'll have to come back to this later. So for now, let's guide again. Another night with more rules to learn, dodge the danger zones, and send the military ships to the aircraft carrier zone. It's another day of guiding ships. 1 normal, 4 military, and 1 cultist, with another round of wrong. It talks to us once again, telling us that we'll be able to keep our family safe soon enough. Once the Great Old One awakens, the lighthouse will reach its true power. After the conversation, I answer the door. And it's Drake! What happened to you? Come in. You need safety. After that encounter, the sheriff now calls us. He's on the hunt for the cultists and he's got a trail on them. So why not help him? I then answer a ship with a direct reference to Papers, Please, with us guiding him correctly while he gives us quite the hefty reward. We then also meet a cultist at the door. The cultist gives us a very important paper that we'll use a bit later, but we do finally end the day. Never ready for what will be bound to happen. I start with another routine morning, except the courier has made the decision to leave, to go meet his family, so we let him depart, with another shift to get through. On this night, we get a lot more complicated rule set, so let's just get through this. We get more military ships with more errors, with more of the military hunting the cultists. It speaks once more, telling us that the time has come, ready for the power to manifest itself, while saying he is free now. We wake up within the dream. The boy chats again, yet his words counter what he say, with us now reaching the end of chapter 3. We wake up with the soldier now greeting us. The situation is becoming more and more out of control. The soldier begins to inform us about the situation. The military is planning a strategy to bite back against the cult for destroying their ships. Even with the attempt of a peaceful resolution, they'll need our help. We start another night. The knight screams with fright, and the military instructs us to fight back by guiding the ships to the correct battle points. What if I didn't? What if I made the military fail and break? Why not let evil win? I want more power. I enter the basement. The dark halls have eyes stretching amongst the walls, but we reach the end. I open another door and find a book of great power. The book begins to persuade us, offering us a wish to be granted, but we must listen to it. We first need to lock the unknown down. Every room has a seal in it. If we find every seal, we can bind the unknown. An offering I find appealing, so we leave to begin the binding. When we come back, we learn that the military has fallen. The darkness grows stronger. The boy shows up again. He talks to us while pulling us into another dream realm. When we look around, we find the 3rd and final journal. Another morning starts. I apply all the seals needed and meet the book again. The book is quite pleased, being able to break free and trap the one who trapped him. When we leave, we finally meet the face of the unknown, finally piecing it together that the unknown was the previous keeper. But we can't think about it for too long. We got another night to go through. Now having to be aware of the depth levels. But before any of the ships are managed, the boy shows up again asking if we're ready, stating that we've almost accepted the truth. Even with it being very ominous, I do let them in. On this night, I managed 5 ships with more finds. We also sneakily hear a message from the military, with the frequent information to contact the submarine. I instantly contact with a hyper curiosity. With enough fiddling on the comms, we reach the submarine. But the night ends again. On the 12th morning, we communicate to the mainland and learn that the city is under emergency evacuation, but we can't do anything except guide the ships through another night. Except this time we gotta avoid the minefields. Another 8 ships are managed, while sending Ember to help fight against the cultists. Because if the military can't win, why not drugs? Well, Drake also spooks me here. Oh shit. Drake makes the decision to leave and stop the Mafia. Best of luck, friend. You will be missed. On this night, the sheriff does contact us once more. Before I say anything, I have to pull the veil away. The sheriff had contacted us much earlier, and during that conversation, we had asked him to check on our family, since over the many days, our family had been in massive stress, and our comms were cut at one point. That's what this conversation is about now. Yet what he says is confusing. The house that they're living in is abandoned. No one's been there for 5 years. We haven't even been there for years as well. But we talked to them, didn't we? No. It was nothing but static from the reports that the sheriff had dug up. So where's our family? They died 5 years ago during a car crash on Highway 255. It's been hiding within our minds. We wake up within a grave. When we walk around, we find ourselves a door. I take a breath, and I gently open the door. This can't be real. But no matter how much I try, I can't escape reality. I need to move on and keep myself together. So I wake up. I have to keep going. Another night begins. For now, we need to focus on evacuation, sending them to the filtration camps, according to their purpose. With this wake-up call, I need to get them to safety. I guide 5 ships and help plan the attack against the cultists. The Mafia man screams at us once again. Drake has reached the island, destroying everything, even the source of their ember. But Dawn won't go down without some company, cutting completely out after an explosion. While the sheriff and the attackers have been successful with their attack, taking control of the village that we're on. Yet the cultists aren't done yet, since they plan to attack Blackfront in 2 days. But for now, we rest for tomorrow. We wake up, prepare once more, and start another night. We get handed a report and we are informed that we must just survive 2 more nights and will all be evacuated. With the new rules, we have to guide the cultists into the defense islands or the minefields, while guiding the others to the fortification islands. We save 2 civilians and destroy 3 cultists. During the night, the questionable mushroom lady shows up once more, this time mad beyond control, stating that the village destroyed her home and she wants revenge against them. So I won't stop her. Do your thing, girl. The nanny comes downstairs and needs our help. The boy, he's beginning to fade away. Why? I don't know. But she asks whether we let him go or if we try to save him by just letting the winds of fate see where they take him, possibly turning him into a worse situation. After considering the options, I make the decision to let the boy go, see how the winds take him. Hello! Maybe I shouldn't have done that. But that's not even the highlight of this night, since all of a sudden a monstrous creature shows himself, the Great One. This is where the darkness truly begins to corrupt. On our last and final morning, we need to get through this. On the radio, we get told to fight against the Great One, using the lighthouse against it. So that's what I do. I reach to the top and fight against it, aiming the light straight against one of its eyes. When we come back downstairs, the chief talks to us once more. Somehow still here. Guess you truly can't kill annoying people now, can you? We go back up and attack the eye 2 more times, until I enter the basement. When we reach the book again, we find our daughters waiting for us, talking to us, trying to guide us to make the right choice. I touch the book and begin to bargain. Much squabbling goes on, but I strike something. If I sacrifice the old keeper, maybe I can pull back the clock. If I can't fully stop it, maybe I can make it never truly happen. Ever. Even though this might be the end in a way, we're not at the end of these waters. I start the game again, except I decide to retaliate the world by throwing the statue off. I next put all the clues together from all the notes gathered, unlocking the secret within the column by flipping the 3 crosses within the lighthouse. Within the column, we find another clue to another puzzle, with the last puzzle piece we're needing. With all 3 of the cubes, we reach the puzzle and place the cubes in order: sun, observer, moon. When we do that, a hidden compartment opens. Within it, we find the last and final note. After reading it and using the bottom numbers on the radio, we contact Eleanor. I do the last night again, choosing another ending allowing me to obtain the end. The next achievement requires me to be saved, so I turn back the clock to an earlier night, getting myself killed on purpose. When I do, the boy saves us playing ball with us. I then go for the last easy achievement, since I decided to say f this crap and go home early on the first day, getting no way. This is where the climb for the rest of the achievements become much harder, all requiring a new playthrough in some sort of way. So this starts the second playthrough. On this run, my goal is to get Furnish Master and Always Open, which requires me to get every nail on the walls attached with something and allow everyone in who asks. So begins the time and grind. Eventually with enough nights, I get all the paintings hung up, and finally allow the last beggar in. I next start the third playthrough. On this attempt, however, I focus solely on the Scrooge, making me save up money till I have $4,000, which means I gotta take all Mafia bribes and become proficient in ship guidance, with another grueling set of nights happening. But I'm lucky to be able to be spared and just get through enough nights, making me a Scrooge. But we're not done yet. Another playthrough is in motion. This time I save myself some time and start on day 4. On this attempt, I focus on the last 4 achievements, all possible on the last and final run. Collector, Hatter, Model Employee, and Misanthrope, which requires me to get every special item. All items covered in this yellowish tint are needed for this achievement. I then need to grab every hat and wear it at least once, which is also needed for the Collector. I then need to be the best employee and make no mistakes, and don't let a single soul in. After even more nights of guiding, I finally collect all the items and all the hats. After even more nights, we make it to the end of the story, being the one and only Model Employee. I then restart the day again, since even if I deny every possible person, this damn spirit just waltzes in no matter what I do. But I've always wondered, can spirits survive a nuke? Now with everything finally done, I can give my final thoughts on this. First of all, my rating on this game. I'll give this game a 6 out of 10 sus ships in the fun factor, and a 7 out of 10 in nuclear explosions and difficulty. This game was pretty fun on the first playthrough. The amount of playthroughs I had to do was driving me insane. If you were taking this game seriously right off the bat, you could most likely reduce the amount down to 3. But if you're playing the game like me, it's going to take so much longer. I also love all the game references within it. That does add some spark to the game. The main mechanic is still pretty fun, and the main story is still pretty interesting. It's not exactly a perfect Papers, Please, but it's pretty good. If you're looking for some kind of game familiar to it, I think it's pretty good. And as of me writing and editing this video, the game came out with an update, so maybe it's even better. So why not give it a look? And with that, stay chill and watch some anime.